Hello again. My name is Mike. I'm a chaplain with Trinity of Christ Ministries. I'm also a relationship coach, specializing in infidelity and intimacy issues. And today we're going to answer that age old question of why wasn't I good enough? As counselors and coaches, we often hear the person that was betrayed ask this question: why wasn't I good enough? Why is this person cheating? I must have came up short. I must have not been there like I should have been for them. I must not have, you know, gave 100% to my relationship. I must have let them down. This is also easy to believe because lots of times the person that's cheating will also actually tell you this. So between you feeling guilty and them telling you that you let them down in some sort of way, that you weren't there for them, it's very easy to get down on yourself and doubt yourself and be critical of yourself, blaming yourself for this person's choices. If I'd have only done this, they wouldn't have done that. This is very common. This is very humanistic of us to tell ourselves this. Um, it's not you, it's them. And probably if you're in this emotional state, probably if you just found out, especially, it's probably, you know, you don't feel that way. You feel it's your fault. And I can promise you that it almost never is. Now, there are a few exceptions to that. If you were someone who was abusive or maybe had a drug addiction or alcoholic or something like that, or some of that nature, then yeah, it could be what you did. That's true. But in most normal, healthy marriages and relationships, it's almost never your fault. Uh, there is not some sort of magic thing you could have did to prevent this from happening to you. We like to believe there is because it's, kind of us reconciling our feelings. But there really isn't. There is nothing that you could have done that would have made this person be faithful. Um, the other thing to keep in mind is um, it's an individual choice. Someone who chooses to cheat made that decision solely on their own accord. Uh, you didn't force them to cheat. This person made that decision. They probably made that decision over a length of time. If we're talking about an affair, now maybe a little different for a one night stand. That kind of falls into a different category. But we're talking about an affair. And this person made that conscious decision to cheat on you. They made a conscious decision to break the marriage vows, to be unfaithful, to destroy the trust. And you need to hold them accountable for that if they're not holding themselves accountable, and they almost never will. But no matter what they tell you, the reason is no matter they say, well, if you'd have did this, if you'd have did that, you know, this wouldn't have ever happened, or well, whatever excuse they're going to come up with. This is easy for you to accept from them because you already feel guilty. You feel like it's your fault. Um, it's not, because for two reasons. For one, there's never an excuse to cheat, ever. I don't care what your reason is. It's not an excuse. Uh, the how you handle that is counseling, prayer, and see if you can reconcile. And if you can't, if it's not savable, then you divorce. At least there's no betrayal going on. You both agreed, hey, this isn't going to work. Okay, we go our separate ways. At least that, it's not the desired outcome. It's certainly not God's outcome. But at least there isn't all the betrayal, the lies, and deceit that's destroying the marriage. The second reason is they're telling you this. It's because you didn't do this, you didn't do that. They're not telling you because it's true. They're telling you that because they're trying to reconcile in their brain. Here comes that word, those words, cognitive dissonance. This is cognitive dissonance in their brain that's trying to reconcile what they're doing. They don't want to be the bad guy. Their brain's stressed out because they're doing something they know is wrong, goes against their morals. So you have to be the bad guy. You are the one they're going to blame. It's your fault because they don't want to take accountability for the choice they made. Uh, and if you're in this state, you very well may let them blame you. Yeah, you're right. If I would have been a better husband and did this, or if I would have been a better wife and did that, they wouldn't have done this. Don't fall for it. It's not your fault. It's their fault. It's their choice. It's what they did. Um, can we all improve? Absolutely. Sure, we can. None of us are perfect. None of us is the perfect husband, the perfect wife. We can all make improvements. We can, all be more affectionate to our spouse. We can all be more attentive to our spouse. We can all be less selfish and less self-centered and start, trying to see things from our spouse's perspective and ask what they need. What can we do better? How can we be a better wife or a better husband? This is true. We all have room for improvement. However, this is not an excuse for what they did. Uh, it's not the way it works. You don't take the blame because of their lack of self control and poor decisions. You made a poor decision if you cheated. Uh, no matter your excuse, and believe me, they always have plenty of excuses, but that's exactly what they are. They're excuses. Um, you can't fix it. Only they can fix it. You can't fix it. There's nothing you can do that will suddenly make this person say, oh my goodness, you're right. I don't know what I was thinking. They're not going to do that. They're going to justify in their mind what they're doing, why they did it. You can't fix that. They're the only ones who can fix it. Will they fix it? Maybe, maybe not. But regardless of what they do, you need to realize that it's not your fault. There's nothing you can do about it. You know, assuming you weren't abusive or something like that. Other than that, you're not responsible for their decisions. Their decisions are their decisions. Uh, there's nothing you can do that's just going to flip on a light switch and make them see things in a different way. They have to do that on their own, and the only way they can do that is through realizing the choice that they made and the destruction that they caused. Believe it or not, you usually don't have to do this. This will usually come in time. If you had a good marriage, you treated her well, she treated him well. This realization usually comes on its own after the affair fog wears off and they start seeing what they've really destroyed. The question is it too late? By this point, you may not be interested in reconciliation. And that's perfectly all right. Uh, you do not have to take back somebody who destroyed your marriage. They made this choice. Uh, they'll have to live with it. If they come to the realization later that they made a huge mistake, uh, well, that's up to you whether you're going to let them back into your life and reconcile your marriage. You'll hear a lot of counselors tell you, especially in the Christian community, reconciliation, reconciliation. That's the only way, reconciliation. Well, God does hate divorce. God also gives you the choice of whether you want to reconcile or not. You do not have to take this person back if the day comes when they decided that they messed up and they destroyed everything. That's your decision. It's not your pastor's decision. It's not your counselor's decision. It's not your husband or wife's decision. It's not your family's decision. It's your decision. You do what you feel like the right thing to do is, what's best for you. Pray about it. Maybe seek advice from a counselor, not a friend. Don't go to friends and family for advice because they're going to be biased. Go to a counselor that's going to be unbiased and give you an honest opinion, an honest viewpoint from someone who has been trained to deal with infidelity. Remember that faithfulness is a standard. It's not a reward. It's not an exception. This person, you know, broke your trust and was unfaithful. This isn't some kind of rare trait. This is something that should be perfectly normal in a healthy marriage. If this person was serious about the marriage and wanted to be married to you, then loyalty and faithfulness is a standard ingredient of a healthy marriage. This isn't something that's rare. This person doesn't get credit for being loyal or faithful. Uh, none of us deserve credit for being loyal or faithful. That should be automatic. We should always be loyal and faithful. We didn't do something extraordinary. We did what God asked us to do when we said I do and took our vows. We were good to this person. We treated them with respect and dignity and integrity. We honored them and loved them and respected them. And so this is a normal relationship, a normal marriage. This isn't something that's extraordinary, nor should it ever be. Asking for basic, respect and courtesy uh, is not something out of the ordinary. This is something that should be standard in every godly and healthy marriage. So when this person comes to you and blames you because they're in an affair fog and they're trying to reconcile their actions with their brain, so you're the bad guy, just remember you're not. And don't tell yourself you are. Whether you're the husband or the wife, doesn't matter. You're not the reason. They're the reason. They made this decision on their own, of their own accord. Because let's be honest. Let's just say they're right. Let's say there was something. Then why didn't they come to you? And you work through it together, or maybe go to a counselor and they help you both work through it. Why not pray about it and ask God to help you through it? Was the answer going to cheat, going to start an affair with someone? That was the cure? It's not the cure. So don't let anybody gaslight you into believing that it's your fault that this person cheated, that you weren't good enough. You were good enough. they thought you were good enough when they married you, right? You were good enough then. So, like I said, unless there's abuse or something like that going on in the marriage, you are good enough. And this person made this decision on their own. So don't let them gaslight you into believing that it's your fault, because it's not your fault. Uh, I hope this helps someone who's going through this. Hopefully you're not, but if you are, hopefully this helps. Seek advice, seek some counsel. Get out of this mindset and this mentality that you weren't good enough, because it's not true. You're good enough. Again, my name is Chaplain Mike. I'm with Trinity of Christ Ministries. If you'd like to see more, you can find us at trinityofchrist.org. You can also find us on Facebook. This is part of our ongoing series on intimacy and infidelity. Until next time, God bless you and have a good day.